Welcome back to Mobility Insider. I'm Morten Handelsbo. Our channel remains unsponsored. All of the views and conclusions are based on my insights, having worked in the automotive industry for 35 years. Today we're going to talk about our own family car, the Audi Q4 e-tron Sportback 50. This is our own family Q4 e-tron. We bought it in June of 2022 and now the car has 17,500 kilometers. Today I'm going to talk about the car, the owner experience, the consumption and other aspects of the vehicle that might be interesting for you if you consider buying a used EV or in particular maybe a used Q4 e-tron. The brand Audi has been part of the huge Volkswagen group since the late 60s. Audi is a premium brand and the motto for Audi is Vorsprung durch Technik. And that means that you as a customer, you have an advantage because of the technology that Audi is offering the customer. Today, one of the outstanding technologies is the quattro four-wheel drive, and also Audi is particularly emphasizing lighting technology, so headlamps and rear lamps of the vehicle. That's where they try to stand out. If they compare to BMW or Mercedes, obviously these cars are very comparable, but this is where the Audis would have a standout. But this being said, over the last few years, Audi has dropped back when we compare them to Mercedes and BMW. And the reason for that is that the Audi lineup has lacked innovation, and also the value proposition, the price and what you get for your money, as well as the global marketing strategy for Audi has been, say, maybe not up to scratch with what is expected today. The automotive business today is extremely competitive. So if you don't innovate all the time, reduce your cost, and you have a global marketing strategy that works, then you risk falling behind. And that is what happened to Audi over the last few years. So another example is that Audi was quite late to the electric vehicle party. Tesla started back in 2010 and Audi joined the electric vehicle sales in 2019 with a big fat e-tron. Shortly after came the Audi e-tron GT, the sporty vehicle that shares components with Porsche Taycan. And now recently they launched the A6 e-tron and the Q6 e-tron. I recently tested the Q6 e-tron, and that is a really good example of solid technology but without enough innovation, and that makes the car kind of average. The Q4 e-tron was launched in 2021 and the first full sales year was 2022. And in that year, Audi sold 53,000 units worldwide of the Q4 e-tron. The following year, 112,000. And last year, 2024, they sold 108,000 units. If you compare that to Tesla, obviously Tesla Model Y will sell a lot more, in fact, more than 10 times more. And one of the reasons for that big difference is that Audi chose a premium pricing strategy, meaning that the car is relatively expensive to its competitors. And that is something that is coming back to haunt Audi now because they cannot sustain the volume that they have set out to sell. Back in 2021, when Audi decided on the premium pricing strategy, that probably made sense. But in the meantime, we see that prices are coming down, competition is much fiercer, and you have excellent products coming from various parts of the world now competing in the market with the Audi Q4. And now the car seems expensive. So what Audi has done is that they have tried to give discounts and better financing packages to make the car more competitive, but they are struggling to sell the car in large volumes, and 100,000 a year is just not enough. So now you may ask, why doesn't Audi just reduce the prices of the Q4 e-tron? Well, first of all, they don't have economies of scale. They produce about 100,000 a year. That is not enough to significantly reduce the cost. And the second thing is that they have a lot of finance vehicles in their books, the Audi Financial Services. And if you reduce the prices of new cars, that will have a significant hit on your residual value, and that would hurt Audi at the same time. So that's the reason why they cannot or don't want to do it. So I mentioned that the Audi global strategy has not been successful over the last few years. And as a result, in 2024, sales for Audi went down by 12%. And that is quite a big number. And it meant that in 2024, even Tesla sold more cars worldwide than Audi. So unless Audi will up the game in terms of more affordable pricing, better technology and higher perceived quality of the vehicles, I think they will continue to struggle. So back to our Q4 e-tron. This is a fairly large car. The length is 459 centimeters. In the width with mirrors, 211 centimeters. The car has four-wheel drive, so it's the Audi Quattro. So it has two motors, one in the front, one in the rear. And in total, the performance is 299 horsepower in boost mode and 265 horsepower in normal daily usage. The acceleration from 0 to 100 in the car depends on the state of the charge. So if you have a full battery, more than 87%, acceleration 0 to 100 will take you 6.2 seconds. If you have less than 87% state of charge, it will take 6.8 seconds because Audi reduces the power if you have less state of charge. The Q4 e-tron is built on the Volkswagen MEB platform. So you get the standard battery. It's 82 kilowatt hour capacity gross, 77 kilowatt hour capacity net. The vehicle weighs 2,215 kilos. You have 535 liters of luggage space, and that expands to 1,460 liters if you fold the rear seats. The Q4 is built in Zwickau in Audi's factory there in Germany, and the platform is shared with, among others, Skoda Enyaq, the Volkswagen ID.4, and also recently the Ford Explorer and the Ford Capri. In 2024, Audi made some updates to the Q4, among other for the high-end version with the big motors. You get a faster charging speed. You also get more power, so instead of 299, as this one has, the new one has 340 horsepower, which gives you, in theory, a faster vehicle. When this car was new, the price of the vehicle was about 92,000 Swiss francs. That consists of the base price, 67,750 Swiss francs, and 24,250 Swiss francs for various options. And those include the color-tuned exterior parts, the bigger aluminium wheels, the moonroof, and some of the interior upgrades like the sport seats, the S-Line interior, and also a Sonos sound system. All in all, that was quite an expensive package, 24,250 Swiss francs. When you drive the Q4 e-tron, what you feel is the competence that Audi has. So the driving quality is very good. The build quality is also very good. But the perceived quality, the plastics and some of the solutions they have just isn't that premium. And here you feel the relationship that Audi Q4 has with the Volkswagen ID.4. It is just a level below what you would normally expect from a premium brand like the Audi. However, the steering wheel, the layout of the instrument cluster, and the really excellent S-Line leather sport seats, that gives you a premium feel. Let's talk about consumption. The shape is a boxy shape. The coefficient of drag is 0.26, so it's fairly high, and that shows in the consumption figures. On my standard test route, the average consumption was 21.7 kilowatt hours. Over the last 4 winter months, 2,155 kilometers, the average consumption in cold weather was 23.9 kilowatt hours. And if I take a full year on 5,500 kilometers, the average consumption was 21.6 kilowatt hours. So the consumption figures are reasonably okay, but they are about 10% higher than comparable new cars today, like the Ford Explorer or the Kia EV3. So what does it mean for the range of the Q4? With that consumption, in winter you get about 325 kilometers, and in summer temperatures or warm spring temperatures you'll get about 400 kilometers of range. You will very rarely get more than 400. A weak point of the Q4 is the charging speed. The car charges with a maximum of 135 kilowatts. In the new 2025 model, Audi has improved that to 175 kilowatt. But for these cars, for the used car you'll find in the market, it is 135. And that gives you a fairly slow charging time from 10 to 80% of 38 minutes, about 10 minutes longer than most competitors today. One of the reasons for the fairly slow charging is that you cannot precondition the battery, at least not on the older models. From the facelift in 2024 and onwards, you can now do that. You have to activate it by using the navigation system, telling the navigation that you're going to charge, and then it will preheat the battery. But the car does have a really useful cabin heating function. You can either activate it in the car on the screen, or you can use your app to set the temperature to the temperature you prefer. Also, Apple CarPlay works really well, connects seamlessly, and it always works. And finally, there's a nice function which means you can set the charging limit when you charge your traction battery, so 80% or 90%, whichever you prefer, because that may prolong the life of the battery. What works really well in the Q4 is the MMI system. It has a very logical way in terms of how you use it. And I think most customers will actually like it, especially if you're coming from the Audi world. You'll feel very well at home in the Q4. The sound system is the Sonos sound system, and that is a big step up compared to the standard sound system in the car. So in terms of technical issues, we did not have major issues with the Q4 in these first 2.5 years, but there were a few irritations. First of all, we ordered the car with a 360-degree camera system. Audi could not deliver that because of supply chain issues in 2022, so we had to amend the order, and now we only have a rear camera on the car. Second issue was that the app did not connect with the car, so I wasn't recognized as the owner of the car. Every time you entered the car, you had to press the screen 3 times because it would think that you are a guest driver. And also you could not use the app, so you couldn't pre-cool or preheat the car. And that took Audi 1 year to fix that. So the app connection was updated in June of 2023. And at the same time, Audi made some updates to the motors and the battery, which meant that the consumption was improved between June of 2023 and now just a fraction. Last but not least, we had one issue where the charging system showed a fault, but it self-corrected after the next charging session. And it has not appeared since, so we can leave it with that. So let me round off this video by giving you 5 things I really like about the car and 5 dislikes as well. So first of all, I think the car has a really contemporary design. It really works well. The seats and the driving experience gives you a usable package in everyday life. Second is that the car really drives well. It's really competent. The handling is sporty, but it is also comfortable at the same time. And I think most customers will really like the way the car drives. Third thing, really important for many families, is that the car has a lot of space. It is surprising how much luggage and how much leg space and head space you have in the car. So for a family going on long trips, this car will do really well. Number 4 is the low maintenance cost of the vehicle. It comes standard with 3-year warranty in our market, and it also has a 10-year service package included in the price. And number 5, and not least, it gives you a feeling of really solid technology because it's based on Volkswagen's MEB platform, which is a proven technology. So now to the 5 dislikes about the Q4 e-tron. First of all, some of the plastics and the cup holders are just not premium. That's not okay. It's not a good solution. And second point is the haptic buttons on the steering wheel and also the odd gear shift lever is not premium for me. Third thing is the charging speed. 135 kilowatt max is actually quite low, and that gives you this long charging time, 10 to 80% of 38 minutes, which is just not competitive. Number 4 is the fairly high consumption. Between 21 to 24 kilowatt hours on a modern car from a brand which has Vorsprung durch Technik as the motto is just not good enough. And last but not least, the residual value hits on these cars, electric vehicles in general, but also Audi Q4 as a premium product is just really too big. 50% minus after 2 years and 2/3 of the value lost after 3 years on a new premium car is not good enough. But of course, the last argument is because of the big drop in price, you can find really good bargains of Q4 e-tron in the used car market. So if you look in Germany, about 42,000 euros for a car like this one, which was new about 85 or 90. In the UK, about 33,000 for a low mileage Q4 e-tron quattro. And in Switzerland, about 40,000 Swiss francs. So it's less than half the price of what the car was new. So that brings me to the conclusion on the Q4 e-tron as a used car proposition. When I tested the car back in 2023, it was one of the newest products in the marketplace, and I gave it a 4-star recommendation. So back then, certainly the car was very good and highly competitive. Now things have moved on a little bit, and these days you get new cars from competitors with lower pricing and offering more tech. So as a new car, the Q4 is faced with a lot of competition. But as a used car proposition, it is one of the best used cars you can get out there. It's based on solid technology and it drives well, and the prices are very attractive. So in my book, it deserves a strong recommendation as a used car buy. Thank you for watching Mobility Insider. Don't forget to comment and like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.